While most of us are safe and sound in our beds late at night, there are many people out there working the graveyard shift. From hotel receptionists to security guards, the late night shift is usually a boring job when nothing much happens. However, the following night shift workers have had some horrifying experiences. These eerie stories have been shared on Reddit, recounting creepy paranormal activities, the blood-curdling crimes. These are 5 Grizzly true shift workers' stories. Number 5. President's Office. Around 12 years ago, I was working security at a small company's headquarters in New York City. My partner for the night had called in sick, so I had to work from midnight to 6 all by my lonesome. Now, normally this wouldn't be a problem. I just had to sit in the back room with some cameras and occasionally head out to sweep. Nothing to it, right? Well, as it turns out, one of the employees had stayed in the building after hours and had managed to avoid my co-worker's sweep from the previous shift. I first noticed the movement in my peripheral vision on one of the screens, and then again a few minutes later. This was odd because I was used to quiet nights in this particular building. I was a little scared when I headed out for my sweep, but it was my job, so I grabbed my flashlight and headed out to begin. I had to start the sweep in one big hallway, and right as I entered I saw a flash of movement at the end of it. At this point I was sufficiently freaked out. I stood frozen for a minute or so, looking into the semi-darkness, unsure of what to do. The decision was taken out of my hands, however, as I heard a gunshot sound down the hallway. In what was the scariest moment of my life, I slowly walked down that hallway to investigate. I reached the end and saw to my left that the president's office light was on. Slowly, I approached the door and creaked it open, terrified. What I saw will forever haunt me. The man had taken a seat in the president's chair and shot himself in the head with a pistol, splattering blood and brains all over the floor and the wall. Apparently, this guy was having problems at home, and because the president was supposedly abusive towards him, he decided to off himself and scare the president at the same time. In any case, I threw up a few times and called the police. I got the next 2 weeks off. I still have nightmares about it sometimes. Number 4. The hotel room. I worked night audit at this semi-swanky hotel next to the airport. One night I get a call from a lady in room 204. She says there was arguing, loud banging and crying coming out of 206. I checked the computer. No one has checked into that room due to maintenance issues. I called my supervisor to see what to do. She tells me to call on-site security and follow them up with a key. As we get off the elevator, we can hear this crying. It's loud. My heart starts racing as we near the door. So I hand the key to the security guard. The next 5 minutes seem to happen in slow motion. He opens the door and immediately flicks on the light. As we enter the room, the shower is on. Steam is coming from under the door. There is only one lamp on in the room. It's super cold, and there is a lady with super red hair curled up, crying in the bed. She was facing away from us. She sort of stopped crying and rolled over. And when she did, a wave of horror came over me. She was super pale, covered in blood, and was just staring behind us. That's when we realised the shower had stopped and the door was open. There was a man about 6 feet 5 inches standing in the doorway. As we turned around, cops tased and arrested him. Turns out he was a rapist who hides in hotel rooms, kidnaps women who stay there and cuts them open. To this day, I will never go into that hotel. Number 3. Where's the exit? One of my friends had a job in the hospital looking after patients, making beds, etc. I heard he'd suddenly quit his job, wouldn't talk to anyone about it. I bring some beers over to his house and try to see if I can get him talking. He's a total emotional wreck. Finally, get him to talk, and he says that he was working one night in the hospital when he heard a nurse shouting for help because someone was going into cardiac arrest. So he runs down a hallway and some man runs towards him. They almost bump into each other and the man shouts, "Where's the exit?" My friend points at the exit, then runs into the room with the man going into cardiac arrest, only to see it's the exact same person who ran past him in the hallway. He died in front of his eyes. Number 2. the nanny. Right out of college, I got a job as a nanny for 2 elementary-aged girls. For their anniversary, the parents went on a week-long cruise, and I stayed at home with the kids. The first few nights, the 8-year-old would come into my room multiple times at night and woke me up. It was obvious she hadn't pre-planned what she was going to give me as a reason for waking me, so she would stumble through an excuse on the spot like, "I just wanted to make sure we're still going to the park tomorrow," or "I think I forgot to brush my teeth and wondered if I should do it now or wait till morning." I figured she was just missing her parents and feeling out of sorts, so I let it slide at first. But by the 4th or 5th time, knowing I needed sleep to keep up with 2 active kids, I told her that she wasn't to wake me up unless it was an emergency. I get a couple more hours of undisturbed sleep, but wake up with a weird feeling around 5 a.m. I turn over and nearly piss myself. The girl has brought over a chair right next to the bed and is staring down at me. It didn't help that she had long dark hair, and this happened a few months after the ring had come out. Her explanation? "I just thought it would be fun to watch you sleep. I didn't wake you." Number 1. Towels. I worked as a hotel auditor in a rough area of Phoenix. This guy comes up to my night window with an ice pick and hatchet in his hands, covered in specks of blood, asking for towels. I calmly ask him for his room number, give him his towels, and wait for him to walk away. I called the police, and sure enough, he had killed someone. We rented out the room 2 days later. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to say a big thank you to Amy for supporting us on Patreon. If you'd like to help out Weird World, you can visit our Patreon with the link on the screen.